Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the morale lifting father-son fusion Super Saiyan Vegeks Xeno. And honestly speaking, I just want to start off by saying this guy looks really good. But as with all heroes units, I think dupes are really going to change how you look at them. Heroes units have crazy looking passives, but in reality have incredibly low base stats. And people sometimes say, well, what does that matter? But base stats do matter quite a bit. Like the amount of base stats that a unit has is like critically important to how that unit performs. And you can see with heroes units more than most the effect that having low base stats can have on units. So Vegeks, I think I really like his kit. I like how he performs. The numbers you see, especially I want to say offensively here and defensively, change quite dramatically with dupes because of how it works, the additional system and everything, especially defensively. I think it does change quite a bit with dupes. So that's not to say that he's bad. I mean, he still is pretty good in this video, but it's just more to say that I do think you're going to have to see how many dupes you have with your Vegeks before you can really evaluate how good he is overall. But yeah, so he's a strength type lead of 100%, greatly raises defense permanently whilst raising attack for one turn, causes supreme damage to the enemy. Attack and defense of 150%, an additional attack and defense of 150% when performing an attack, an additional attack of 30% up to 150%, and chance of performing a crit plus 20% with each super attack performed. Key plus 2 and launches an additional attack. There's a high chance of becoming a super when there is another crossover or Super Saiyan's category ally attacking in the same turn. All attacks become critical hits and an additional super attack when the target is in attack down, defense down, stunned, or sealed. Link-wise, Super Saiyan, Saiyan lineage, Royal lineage, shocking speed, fused fighter, power bestowed by God, and sharing the limit are his link sets. And he's on crossover, Defenders of Justice, Dragon Ball Heroes, Fused Fighter, Patara, Super Saiyans, Time Limit, and Time Travelers. So yeah, all in all, to be honest with you, Vegeks is pretty solid. Defensively, he obviously takes a little bit of time to get up to speed. Greatly raising defense is really good, but you do need some additionals to kind of get things going. His passive isn't nearly as bad as it might have been in the past, because a lot of the end level content nowadays does allow attack lowering to a certain extent. So it's not like it's impossible to trigger his full passive. Additionals also helps him to bring his attack up to speed a lot faster, and in general just makes him a better unit. So for me personally, I would suggest additionals and evasion. He has a ton of crit baked into the passive, so I don't think you need crit. Personally speaking, he already has tons of crit there, so I would rather just say additionals, evasion. I think these two together will make him really, really solid. I don't think you need much more, personally speaking. Of course, to each their own, it's entirely up to you. But yeah, I would say, at least on the surface level, that's really where I'm kind of sitting with the situation in terms of his build. Numbers wise, he looks pretty good. Remember, his attack and defense goes up a ton, or especially his defense, when he supers. So even though he's greatly raising, you're seeing like 400k. Remember, that goes up a lot when he supers. Talking like well over 700 to 800k, because his multiplier is based on super, and so he's only raising defense based on his pre-super defense, and that then gets applied to the multiplier. So that defense goes up quite a bit, like quite substantially, and overall, yeah, really, really good stuff. So I think, like, for me, functionally, he looks really solid. The only real thing is there's a slight limitation to his attack, and that makes sense because there's so much crit that they have baked into him. He understands that they want to limit his attack a little bit by not having it scale infinitely, but overall he looks really solid to me. With that being said, I think Vegeks is a really, really good unit. I really like him. I think he's a solid second slot unit, and his limitations aren't so bad. He needs a Super Saiyan category ally in the same turn, and that's not hard to get on any of his teams. So on that front, I think he looks really solid. And I think the way he's designed and the way his kit comes together, I think is really, really good. So for me, overall, I'd have to say that I find that he is a good unit. I think with dupes, you probably have a lot more fun with him, because I think offensively he becomes a bigger powerhouse at play because of the additionals, the higher attack threshold, and the crits. But I do think he is really, really, really solid. So yeah, but that's it from me. Honestly, really cool unit. I think exceptionally great. And yeah, for me, really, really good stuff. So yeah, but that's it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.